as the lady said, and then I'm going to start by sharing my screen with you. And the topic today is about bidding in the pass-out seat. And I hope you can all see that screen. It's actually, we're starting looking at this hand. It was a hand played before lockdown. And you can see that everyone here who played it on a Tuesday evening, you remember Tuesday evenings, um, bid and made two hearts. Or sorry, rather bid two hearts, but not everyone made it. So two hearts was the final contract by everyone there. One person made an over trick, making 140. Two people just made it, and two people went down. Um, and we can speculate about how the bidding went, but I suspect it probably went one heart, two hearts, and that was passed out. Now, if you look at the little analysis of the hand here in this little grid here, it's actually telling us that the best that North-South can do is actually to make three hearts. In other words, to make 9 tricks there, or could make one spade, 7 tricks in spades. Or that East-West could make something their way. In fact, it's saying that East-West could make 4 clubs or 4 diamonds. Now that's with best possible play and best possible defence, which you might not always find. And in fact, that's what happened here on the people who played it in hearts, that only one person managed to make 9 tricks there. And it's not easy to make 9 tricks. It means you have to guess the position of the hearts and not lose a heart trick. But what's interesting on this hand is that it settled in 2 hearts, whereas I think East-West should have not let the opponents play it in 2 hearts. Let's have a look at the hand as it was and assume that South opens 1 heart. Now West is next to bid here, and West has got 10 points. So they're close to making a bid here, but let's suppose they pass and North raises to 2 hearts. I think that's a fine hand to raise to 2 hearts. It's 7 points with a heart fit. You've just bid 2 hearts on that hand, and after that it might well go pass. South might well pass, and West now, if you pass, that will be the final contract. And that's what I want to look at today, bidding in the pass out seat, where if you pass, that will end the auction. And nearly always when the opponents are playing or about to play in a low level suit contract, it's nearly always right for you to try to take some action, because if the opponents are about to play it in 2 hearts, they probably don't have much more than 20 points between them, and they have a fit in hearts, and it's almost certain that you and your partner will have a fit in one of the other suits, and also that you have quite a few points too. In fact, if we go back to this grid here, you can see that the points are very evenly divided between the 2 sides. East-West have got 20 points, North-South have got 20 points. And in this kind of situation, West needs to bid more aggressively than normal and not let them play in 2 hearts. What you do in this situation when the auction is about to die out is you should assume that you can borrow a few points from your partner. So this hand is only 10 points, but if you borrow 3 points from your partner, it's now 13 points, and it's worth making a bid here. And would anyone like to suggest what you might bid with that West hand? Do unmute yourself.
Double.
Double, yeah. It's a perfect shape for a double. It's a little light to double the first time round with only 10 points. But now the opponents are about to play in 2 hearts, I would definitely bid make a double there. And my partner should realize that when I double here, that I'm borrowing some of East's points. I'm assuming that I'm taking some points. Some people call it the principle of the borrowed king, borrowed 3 points for a king. Okay, so if you double and North passes, now East should bid 3 clubs here. He should not get too excited about that, even though they've got 10 points. They should not bid any more than 3 clubs. That's their best suit. And as it said on the computer analysis, East-West can probably make 3 clubs or even 4 clubs, depending on how they play. Or even if they weren't going to make 3 clubs, they might find that going down was better than letting the opponents make something. Or the other thing that often will happen is that you might push the opponents 1 level higher. In other words, South might bid 3 hearts here rather than letting the opponents play in 3 clubs. And in fact, South is probably right to bid 3 hearts here because he's got 5 hearts. He suspects his partner's got 4. So a good rule of thumb, which is the part of the law of total tricks, is a good idea to compete to the level of your combined trumps. South probably thinks we have 9 trump between us, so may well bid 3 hearts. And that might end the auction. And South might end up playing it in 3 hearts. As we can see, they might make it, or they might go down, depending on how they play the heart suit in particular, whether they try the finesse or just cash the ace and the king. But at least by bidding 3 clubs, you'll have pushed them 1 level higher than they wanted to be. You'll give yourself a greater chance to defeat the contract. Okay. Any comments on that? So that's the gist of the lesson today, to not let the opponents play at a low-level suit contract and to bid a bit more aggressively when you're in the pass-out seat. It's also sometimes known as the protective seat because you're protecting some of your partner's points. Here's another. Yeah.
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
Is there a minimum point count to do this that you should have in your hand?
Well, a good rule of thumb is to add 3 points to your hand and then see if your hand would qualify. And I think this hand would qualify. With 13 points and perfect distribution, I think you would want to bid there. But don't bid, if you've got an absolute rubbish hand. And it also, depends on, you're making the assumption that your opponents know what they're doing. In other words, they bid 1 heart, 2 hearts. They're about to pass out in 2 hearts. And if you enter into the auction and then they start bidding and maybe jump to 4 hearts, then maybe they'll make it because they grossly underbid the first time. But if your opponents are bidding properly, then you can fairly safely bid in the pass out seat by adding a few points, about 3 points to your hand. Any comments or questions on that?
Excuse me, how did you decide how the East decided to bid 3 clubs?
Okay, well, the double of 2 hearts is for takeout, okay, and they're asking their partner to bid their best suit. So I would bid 3 clubs here because I've got 5 clubs. Okay, why, do you think you should bid something else with this hand?
No, I'm just asking, if you had 4 clubs then?
Well, I would bid my best suit. So it's a toss-up, if you like, between clubs and a good 4-card diamond suit, or better 4-card diamond suit. But I would bid the clubs here because I've got more of them. And they're quite, I know I'm missing the ace, king, queen, jack, but they're not bad clubs. Okay. So that's why I bid 3 clubs. Yes.
Tony, could you misinterpret that double as for penalties, though?
Okay. So the answer is that in a bidding sequence like this, it should never be for penalties.
Oh right.
Because they're playing it in a low level suit contract. Yeah. If they keep bidding, higher and higher, and in particular if they get to the level of game and then you double, then that's considered for penalties.
Okay.
Below game, it's considered for takeout. So you should feel free to double there, and your partner must bid something. I mean, it would be terrible if your partner passed. Okay, this hand is not good enough to think about penalising two hearts. So you must definitely bid. And even if they bid three hearts, I wouldn't be thinking of penalising that. But if they got to four hearts, I mean, if we kept bidding clubs and they kept bidding hearts, then I might consider doubling four hearts. And in that case, it would be East, I think, who would be more likely to double four hearts, because you've got two aces and the Queen of Hearts, which hopefully might be three tricks. So you might hope to defeat it. But a good general rule is at a low level, below the level of game, certainly, if you double a suit contract, it's for takeout, and it's not a penalty double. So here's another example. Here South opened one club. Now you might have been thinking of bidding here, and in fact I know some people who probably would overcall one spade, but it's a bit weak. The spade suit is not very good. So let's suppose you decide to pass, but North then bids two clubs. East passes, and if South passes, now you are in the pass-out seat. And it seems that we don't really want to let the opponent just play at the two level in two clubs here. Surely we've got likely to have a fit somewhere, probably in spades. So even though I've only got, I think, 5, 6, 7, 9 points and not a great spade suit, I'm going to bid two spades now. And my partner has to realize that I was, not really good enough to bid one spade originally, but now that the opponent's about to play it in two clubs, I want to push them higher at the very least, or maybe play something our way. And you may find that that ends a contract, or maybe you'll push the opponents higher. Here, if this is a South hand, they may well decide to bid three clubs, and at least you'll have pushed them one level higher than you wanted, than they were going to be. East here, even though you've got a good hand with 10 points, you should not really be getting too excited about your partner's hand, because they weren't really good enough to overcall immediately, and they're only overcalling in this pass-out seat. So you need to downgrade your hand a little bit and maybe let them play it in three clubs. Now, according to the computer, they could make three clubs here, or again, with best possible play or best possible defense, you could play it in two spades, and that would be, two spades would go down one. But even going down one might be better than letting them make two clubs. And at least by pushing them into three clubs, you've made it, if they don't find the best possible line, you have a chance to defeat them there. So it's a very good idea. Don't let the opponents play at, especially the one level or the two level in a suit contract, if it seems that you're likely to have a fit somewhere else with your partner.
Tony, would you still do it if they were vulnerable?
Yeah. The other thing to think about is the vulnerability, and I would, I think, in any case, not let them play in two clubs here, even if we were vulnerable. And even then, if we went down one, then that would be 100 to us, but that would still be better than letting the opponents play it in two clubs. If the vulnerability was favourable and they bid three clubs, you might think about bidding three spades, and that could be a good score. That could work out well for you. If you're not vulnerable and go down two, that's 100, but that could be better than letting them make something their way. But if you're vulnerable,
double.
What are you going to double there?
If they go up to three spades, you might double it.
Ah, right. So if they bid three spades, then North-South might double. Yes, it's who's going to double? Do you think? Do you think North should double or South should double?
North.
Maybe North, because they've got quite good trumps. Yeah, it's. I mean, it turns out, you'll almost certainly defeat three spades. So, yeah, if you think, you've pushed them higher than they want to be, then you can double, and that would suggest that that's for penalty. I mean, you wouldn't suddenly be doubling for takeout because you've already found a fit. You've already found a fit. If you wanted to bid, over three spades, you would bid four clubs. Um, but if you thought they got too high, then of course you could double three spades. Okay, so in these competitive auctions, it's all very often a case of who's going to outbid the other. Are you going to push them one level higher? But it's a good general idea to push them always at least one level higher than they wanted to be. They were happy to play it in two clubs. Well, at least try and push them at least one level higher, and more if you want to be more aggressive, especially if you're not vulnerable. Here's another one.
Tony,
Yeah.
can I? Why didn't South bid one no trump?
Okay.
Open.
How many points has South got?
14, I think.
I think it's 15, isn't it? Okay.
Oh yes, sorry, 15. Yeah. Sorry.
But you're right. Yeah, if they've been a balanced hand with 12 to 14, they'd have opened one no trump. What about this one? Here's an unusual one. Here it's gone one heart by north, and east and south have both passed. You've here got 13 points and a balanced hand. Now, I don't know if you're thinking about whether you want to bid here or not. Obviously, again, you're in the pass-out seat, and if you pass, that'll be it. That'll be it, one heart. But it's quite likely that you and your partner have some points here. And whereas a one no trump as an overcall normally shows 15 to 17, or some people play 16 to 18, in the pass-out seat, you can make a one no trump overcall with a slightly weaker hand. Again, it's about 3 points less. In fact, the recommended range most people play is 11 to 14 points, roughly what an opening one no trump is. In other words, if this west hand had been here, you don't really have a bid over one heart. You can't. I mean, you might think about a double, but the hand shape is far from perfect for a double. You've only got one 4-card suit. But in the pass-out seat, the range for a one no trump overcall, instead of 15 to 17, is more like 11 to 14. So with this hand, you can overcall one no trump. And you should have a stopper in the opponent's suit to bid that too, because you're expressing a willingness to play it in one no trump. But that's what one no trump in the pass-out seat shows. Okay, if we bring up the four hands, we can see if you bid one no trump, if north passes, east should probably not bid anything here, because if your one no trump is showing 11 to 14, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so very unlikely you've got game there, and you would probably pass. However, that might not end the auction, because south, although you're very weak and only have 4 points, so you're right to pass initially, now you might decide to bid 2 hearts maybe. You've got 3 hearts for your partner, and maybe you'll make 2 hearts, at least by you coming in with one no trump. If they don't let you play there, at least you've pushed them one level higher. So here, if they bid 2 hearts, that would probably end the auction, and at least you've given yourself a better chance to defeat a contract than if you just let them play in 1 heart.
But Tony, that's risky, isn't it?
What is risky?
I thought if you supported your partner's suit, you're supposed to have 4.
Yes. Well, South doesn't really.
No.
I mean, South has passed originally.
Yeah.
So North will know that he's got a weak hand with 0 to 5 points.
Yeah.
So he shouldn't, get too excited about that, and realizes he's just bidding 2 hearts to show some kind of heart support, and a few points, but not enough to bid 2 hearts initially.
Right, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? So that's another situation of bidding in the pass out seat.
Excuse me, in
Yeah.
normal bidding, when partner has opened 1 heart or 1 spade, can you make it to raise to 2 if you have got 4 points and 4 cards or in that suit?
Well, it depends on your distribution. Normally a raise to the 2 level would show 6 to 9 points, but you can
6 to 9, but
you can take into account your distribution. So if you have a doubleton or something like that, then that should add points for that. Okay. Any comments on that?
sure.
I'm just going to mute you all if it gets a bit noisy. So just try and keep the background, or unmute yourselves if you wish to speak. So let's have a look at another one. That's gone a bit. Seems like when I'm talking for a while, it takes a while to load these. So let's just wait for this to come back up. Okay, here's another one. I wanted to look at this from East's point of view. It's gone 1 diamond, 1 heart, over to you. Can you bid anything with this hand?
1 club.
You can't bid 1 club.
No, 2 club.
Double.
It's close to wanting to bid something here. You might consider 2 clubs, although or a double. You're a bit light for double because you've only got 9 points there. Let's suppose you pass, and it goes 2 diamonds now, and that gets passed. So it gets 2 diamonds, pass. Now you're in the pass out seat, and surely it seems that you're likely to have. Sorry, there's a bit of background noise again. Let me just mute. Yeah, you can stop making that noise. Thank you. So here, you could, if you pass, that will be it. They'll play in 2 diamonds, and although the opponents haven't shown that they have a good trump fit, it seems very likely they have a fit in diamonds here, and it also seems very likely that you have a fit somewhere else in spades or clubs. So now in the pass out seat with 9 points, I would add 3 points to my hand, treat it like 12 points, and I would double. I would make a takeout double there, okay? And I'm wanting my partner to bid something. Here they bid 2 spades, but maybe North will now bid 3 diamonds rather than let us play in 2 spades. Maybe they'll bid 3 diamonds. Maybe North's hand is something like that. They have got some kind of support for their partner, and maybe at least by you doubling, you'll have pushed them 1 level higher than they wanted to be. Okay, so that might be, yeah.
Isn't the double showing you've got the other 2 suits?
That's right.
The 2 black suits?
Yeah, the 2 black suits in this case. So the double here is preferable to bidding the club suit because I can get both suits in by bidding by making a takeout double, showing the 2 black suits, as you say. And I think that's much better than bidding clubs. After all, I'd have to bid 3 clubs. And by bidding double, if my partner's got 4 spades, they will show the spade suit and at least push the opponents 1 level higher. But I won't go much higher than that. I don't think I want to go higher and start bidding 3 spades. Although, again, if you were if my partner instead maybe bid clubs, then that might be. If my partner bid clubs, I might get more excited about it. But they've just bid 2 spades, so at least I've done one thing, which is pushing them into the to the next level. According to the computer, with best possible play, North-South could make 3 diamonds, or East-West could make 2 spades. But you're at least giving yourself a chance, if they don't find the right line, that you'll defeat 3 diamonds by making them go 1 level higher. Any comments or questions? Let me know. Here's another one involving the pass-out seat. This one is a little different. Here, you've got a nice hand with, I think, 15 points. You opened a heart. West overcalled 2 diamonds, and that was passed. Pass, pass, and back to you. Now, this is a little different, but if you pass, that's going to be the final contract, isn't it? And surely you don't want to let them play in 2 diamonds. So you might think that you should bid 2 hearts or something here, but a much better bid is to double. A much better bid is to double. And because you're still at the low level, a double is telling your partner to please bid something. Saying, I've got, good shape, I've got a good hand, I don't want to let them play in 2 diamonds, and I want my partner to bid something. Okay? Now, if we have a look at your partner's hand here, what do you think they would bid? If it goes double, if East passes, let's say, what do you think North should bid here?
Spades.
2 spades, I think. Yeah. And you have to bear in mind that they, were not bidding freely. You sort of insisted that they bid something. They've only got 5 points here, but you really don't want to let the opponents play in 2 diamonds. And maybe your partner will bid 2 spades, which you'll probably settle for. Okay, and spades is probably a better place than bidding hearts here. So just maybe you'll end up in 2 spades, or maybe the opponents will bid again. Maybe West will bid 3 diamonds, and then maybe with a good spade fit, you suspect your partner's got 4 spades. Maybe you'll play it in 3 spades, and maybe you'll end up in 3 spades on this one. It turns out that with best possible declare play, guessing where all the cards are, you can actually make 4 spades on this hand, or defeat 3 diamonds by 2 tricks. But either way, much better to bid something over that 2 diamonds, and the double is by far the best bid, because it gives your partner all kinds of possibilities as to what to bid there. Much better than bidding 2 hearts. I have to say that when hands like this come up, virtually no one doubles in this situation. It's a bid that people forget about. And I see a lot of people going 1 heart, 2 diamonds, pass, pass, 2 hearts automatically. Whereas a much better bid is to double, which will allow your partner to support any of your suits here. By the way, if North has a stronger hand, if it went 1 heart, 2 diamonds, what should North bid with this hand here? Does North have a bid? You've got 8 points.
Yeah, spades again.
Anyone like to suggest what North might bid here?
2 spades.
There's a much better bid than 2 spades.
Double.
Yes, a double, a negative double. Another bid that, I mean, it's also a kind of takeout double, although it comes up particularly in this kind of bidding sequence. Yes, a double here should show the 2 unbid suits, in particular 4 spades. And it also shows some points, because your partner is required to bid now at the 2 level. This double shows about 8 points as well as 4 spades. Okay, so you now know you have a spade pick. What do you think South might bid here?
2 spades.
Any other thoughts?
2 clubs.
2 hearts.
3 spades.
I don't agree with any of those bids. 4 spades.
Oh, straight
Of course, 4 spades. Your partner's got 8 points. He's got 4 spades. You've got 15 points. You've got a void. You know, if you count your losers, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losers. I certainly don't want to be just 2 spades or 3 spades. I'd go straight to 4 spades with this hand. Once your partner has shown 4 spades for you, and 4 spades should make quite easily on this hand. It'll probably do better than 4 hearts. Any comments?
Tony,
Yeah.
Tony, first time round when you doubled and your partner bid the spade, could you not have bid your second suit? So you bid the spade as south. Bid your heart, then 2 spades, and partner chooses the spade or the heart. Go back.
Yeah. Well, you could do that. The thing is, though, if your partner is really weak and they prefer the hearts to the spades, they will have to go back to 3 hearts, so you'll be a level higher.
Yeah.
Also, if you have a hand like this next one, let's suppose it's gone 1 heart, 2 diamonds, pass, pass, double, pass by west. What do you think North should bid here? Do unmute yourselves. What do you think, North? Anyone like to suggest what North should bid on this hand?
2 hearts.
Yeah, 2 hearts, of course. Your partner wants you to bid something. You don't really have another suit to bid. Diamonds, of course, is there, the opponent's suit. So I was very weak. I was too weak to bid 2 hearts initially, but now I'm going to bid 2 hearts. And once again, you may end up in 2 hearts, or maybe the opponents will end up in 3 diamonds. But either way, you push them a level higher. You've got it, and I hope you can see that this is a much better bid. Doubling here allows your partner to either show their suit or to give some kind of support for you in hearts, which is obviously your best contract. And you can settle in 2 hearts here, or the opponents might outbid you. The computer has found that the best defense on this hand would defeat 3 diamonds by 3 tricks. So you might do very well if they do outbid you, and you just let them play in 3 diamonds. So bidding your second suit is possible, but here I've got, not just spades, I've got clubs as well. So that's really why the double is a much better bid, often forgotten about, than just bidding a second suit. And there's another kind of hand where it may work out well for you to double. This is one where it goes 1 heart, 2 diamonds. Can North bid anything here? Well, you can't. There's really nothing you can bid. If the bidding goes round to south and south doubles again, and west passes, now this is a kind of hand where you can think about passing. And if you do, you are converting what your partner intended as a takeout double to a penalty double. Now, you only do this if you've got very good trumps, and which you do here, and also they're very well situated, if you see what I mean. That the diamond suit is here, and you've got your diamonds above that. So the best course for you here is to actually pass that double and defeat 2 diamonds. And the computer finds that 2 diamonds could again go down 3 tricks, which would be a great contract, especially if they are vulnerable and doubled. Although, as things lie, the computer also finds that North-South could make 3 no trump is another possibility here. but it's hard to bid 3 no trump when you've only got 5 points here. It just turns out that things are very well situated, and it is possible to make 3 no trump. But 2 diamonds, if your partner doubles for takeout, this is the kind of hand where you should seriously think about leaving the double in and converting it to penalty. Any comments or questions on that?
Tony,
I'm listening.
in previous example, when do you know that to add 3 points?
Okay, so you're adding 3 points in these kinds of situations where the bidding is about to end at the 2 level. Sorry, yeah. So when you know that your bid, if you pass, would end the auction. Okay, so that's how you and your partner know that you are bidding in the pass out seat. You both have to realize that your bid is a little weaker than normal because you are adding 3 points, and it's when your bid, you would be the last person to bid. If you pass, that would end the auction. Okay, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so that's it. That's what I'm looking at. I think most people forget about the possibility of doubling with a hand like this, and it's generally much better. It's much more flexible. It gives your partner a chance to support hearts or bid their own suit, whether it's clubs or spades, or even on occasion like this to actually leave the double in and defeat 2 diamonds.
Excuse me, Tony. How do you know it is a penalty double or it is a request to your partner to take a?
So the double made by South is not a penalty double. Okay, the double by South, because it's a double of a low-level suit contract, is for takeout. And a lot of the time, North will find a bid, like bid 2 hearts or bid 2 spades. But on occasion, if you happen to have really good diamonds, you can leave the double in. You know your partner's got a fairly good hand to be bidding something, and you know that your diamonds are well situated here, and it turns out that you can defeat 2 diamonds by at least 2 or 3 tricks. Okay, so your partner will be, when they double, they're expecting you to bid, but this is one of the rare occasions where you pass the takeout double, and therefore you are effectively making it a penalty double. Okay, I hope that's clear enough. We'll end the talk there, and we've got the game starting in 20 minutes. Just before we go to the game, I'm always going to stop sharing with you and ask anyone who needs a partner to stay on the line and let me know. So if you don't